Okay. On to the next mission. Next one. What's next?
The Lithuanian government denounced a violation of its airspace and closed its frontiers with Belarus and Russia.
The unknown object that was shot down during the exercise turned out to be a Russian drone. The official line is that it was shot down to prevent an air collision with our jets training nearby. But the Russians refused to go along with that story and maintained that it was flying on their side of the border.
But it was flying on the wrong side of the border, right?
Well, it was hit in the Lithuanian airspace, but ended up a few meters on the other side of the frontier. So, as you can imagine, they jumped on the occasion to create their own narrative. In any case, the Lithuanian government has closed their borders with Belarus and Kaliningrad until the end of the investigations. As a response, the Russians have placed all their troops at the border on high alert and sent a quote-unquote military convoy carrying humanitarian aid to Kaliningrad. They are approaching the town of Lazdishe as we speak.
And nobody thought about stopping them?
It's a tricky situation. The Lithuanians cannot block humanitarian convoys without breaking international treaties.
Humanitarian my ass. We can't let that happen. The so-called humanitarian convoy is like spitting in our face. Williams, what are our units in the area?
A striker company from 2nd Cav is training nearby. If they move it once, they should be able to intercept the convoy before it reaches the city of Lazdie.
This isn't much, but it'll have to do. Dispatch them immediately.
General, don't you see what's happening? The drone, the convoy, half the Russian army are on high alert on the other side of the frontier. This whole situation could very well be a false flag operation. If you rush into this convoy with blazing guns, this would certainly give them a justification for a strong military response.
They wouldn't dare. They're only testing our resolve. So we'll put ourselves in their way, make a show of force, and watch them go crawl back under their rock.
And what will you do if they don't stop?
The city of Lazdie is a vital crossroad to reinforce Lithuania. If they take control of it, we have no way to defend Vilnius in case of invasion. We cannot take the risk to let that happen.
Sir, Striker Company responded. They are already inside of Lazdie and are awaiting orders.
Thank you, Major. Let's go, Commander. We have a lot on our plate.
It's actually worth noting that the shoot, I forget the name of it. The idea of Russia blitzing the Suwalki Gap between to create a land bridge between Belarus and Kaliningrad. That idea as something that has been war gamed independently before. And basically as a sort of like a Baltic states contingency. In other words, what would happen if Russia decided that it wanted to try and invade / annex the Baltic states, or to at least try and connect Kaliningrad through the Suwalki Gap. The result was actually pretty interesting, in that after the Daenerys wargamed several times, the people coordinating on the Russian side actually preferred operations against Latvia and Estonia in the north, rather than trying to cut off the Baltic states through the Suwalki Gap from Poland.
No time to lose then. This crossroad is the last position where we can stop them before they reach the city. Send your troops there immediately, Commander.
And that was particularly notable because the was particularly notable because basically you would think that it would be advantageous to try and go through the Suwalki Gap roughly along the Polish border without actually stepping into Poland, and try and connect Kaliningrad with the rest of or with Belarus. But what the wargamers ultimately figured, or I say they figured out, basically the conclusions that they came to was that the guys on the Russian side actually preferred attacks against Latvia and Estonia much to the north, because the they were much closer to friendly anti-aircraft resources, and B, or artillery and anti-aircraft, artillery, ground-based air defenses, and whatnot, and B, it would have taken a while for NATO to be able to get response forces up to Lithuania and Estonia from Poland. Meanwhile, if you try and go through the Suwalki Gap to try and create a land bridge between Kaliningrad and Belarus, you're literally on NATO's doorstep. And if I'm going to be entirely honest, you're not just on NATO's doorstep, you're on Poland's doorstep. And Poland, just to be as blunt as possible, is almost would be looking for a reason at that point.
Roger. Moving out. Good copy. Next waypoint.
The convoy is approaching. We're tracking its position with a drone.
Copy.
Hurry up! Capture the crossroad before they reach it.
Remember, this is officially a humanitarian convoy, and unless proven otherwise, it must be considered as such. Act with extreme caution here, General.
Yeah, of course. Commander, make sure our troops are instructed to hold their fire and engage only if fired upon.
Striker, at your command, sir. Moving there now.
We are holding the crossroad, General. They are approaching rapidly. Maybe they didn't see us. Shall we fire a warning shot?
Negative! Hold your fire and stay in the middle of the road. Show them we're here, and they'll back off.
They stopped.
It looks like they're hesitating.
I guess they weren't expecting us. Come on, now is the moment of truth. Either they go back, or they try to pass in force.
Look, they're moving back.
Thank God we won't have a war on our hands today. Congratulations, General. I have to admit, I didn't think it would be that easy.
They turn left. What are they doing?
They're trying another approach to bypass us. Commander, redeploy your troops on these crossroads. Show them we're not here by accident.
Roger, we're Oscar Mike.
Don't forget to call reinforcements. We'll need all the help we can get to cover all these crossing points.
Moving out.
Can I get two of these? Yes, I can. They need to go there.
Moving. Artillery, moving out. Roger, we're on the move.
First crossroad secured.
Striker ready. Already there.
They've stopped again.
Okay, so
Striker ready for combat. Weapons team ready. Weapons team at your orders.
Second crossroad secured, sir. Enemy soldiers have dismounted from the trucks and started moving in our direction. We got positive identification of weapons. I repeat, PID of weapons.
Hold your fire! This is a game of chicken. Whoever shoots first takes the blame.
And whoever gets shot first dies. Williams, drop a bomb on the road in front of them as a warning. We must show where our red line stands.
Fighting vehicle, ready! Roger, moving out.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that's 95, that's 90, so that's basically, I would need like 370 for two of them.
Pedal to the metal.
Our drone has been shot down.
It's clear they're not coming to shake hands. You're authorized to engage, Commander.
Armed vehicles are detaching from the bulk of the convoy. They're moving up in our direction. Prepare for an assault.
Establish defensive positions in the buildings near the crossroads on our flank, Commander. And make sure our troops are resupplied. If one of these positions is overwhelmed, fall back on the main crossroad and hunker down there. I scrambled jets to provide fire support, but they won't be there before 30 minutes. Your orders are simple. Hold at all costs until they arrive.
Your men will never hold that long. Give me a minute. We have a pair of AC-130 gunships in the area. I will demand they be rerouted in your direction.
We? Who are you actually working with now, Miller?
Just use the plane and don't ask questions. They will be there in about 10 minutes. Striker here. Go ahead. Moving out. Order ready. Send coordinates. Good copy. Fire coordinates received. Striker here. Go ahead. Roger. Moving to next waypoint. Personal carrier here.
Our flank is starting to crumble. We can abandon ground to gain time, Commander, but make sure you keep control of the main crossroad. Good morning, Commander. So, have you seen...
Wrong one.
The Lithuanian government
The so-called humanitarian convoy is like spitting in our face.
Yes, thank you. I want to try and see if I can hold both of these crossroads.
The convoy has been spotted a few miles down this highway, sir.
No time to lose, then. This crossroad is the last position where we can stop them before they reach the city. Send your troops there immediately, Commander.
approaching. We're tracking its position with a drone.
Hurry up! Capture the crossroad before they reach it.
Remember, this is officially a humanitarian convoy, and unless proven otherwise, it must be considered as such. Act with extreme caution here, General.
Yeah, of course. Commander, make sure our troops are instructed to hold their fire and engage only if fired upon.
Armored transport reporting in. Don't shoot unless fired upon.
We are holding the crossroad, General. They are approaching rapidly. Maybe they didn't see us. Shall we fire a warning shot?
Negative! Hold your fire and stay in the middle of the road. Show them we're here, and they'll back off.
They stopped.
It looks like they're hesitating.
I guess they weren't expecting us. Come on, now is the moment of truth. Either they go back, or they try to pass in force.
Roger.
Look, they're moving back.
Thank God we won't have a war on our hands today. Congratulations, General. I have to admit, I didn't think it would be that easy.
Transport ready.
No, wait. They turned left. What are they doing?
Relocating.
They're trying another approach to bypass us. Commander, redeploy your troops on these crossroads. Show them we're not here by accident.
Moving there now.
Don't forget to call reinforcements. We'll need all the help we can get to cover all these crossing points.
Ready. Roger. We're on the move.
Grab another MGS.
Already there.
And I don't have enough for a mortar yet.
First crossroad secured. They've stopped again.
Armored transport ready. Striker ready. All walking sandbags. Jump out. Armored transport standing by. Heavy weapons ready. Need some heavy firepower? Get in that building! Striker here. We're combat ready.
Okay.
Artillery on the move. Striker reporting in. Roger. We're Oscar Mike.
Second crossroad secured, sir. Enemy soldiers have dismounted from the trucks and started moving in our direction. We got positive identification of weapons. I repeat, PID of weapons.
Okay, it really, really annoys me I
Hold your
cannot
fire.
pause
This is a
while
game of chicken. Whoever
they're
shoots
talking.
first takes the blame.
And whoever gets shot first dies. Williams, drop a bomb on the road in front of them as a warning. We must show where our red line stands.
Striker awaiting
Just use the planes and don't ask questions. They will be there in about 10 minutes.
Okay, now that that drama's actually done with, and I can actually, you know, control what's going on. Let's see. So I need
Fighting vehicle reporting in. Pedal to the metal. Fighting vehicle at your command, sir.
I preferably need
Already there.
something like that.
Someone call for a cab?
I'm going to keep those in place where they are, and I'm going to want a gonna want to set up right there. And I'm also going to want to grab that. And that is the extent of the mortar's range. The problem is there isn't much in the way of cover beyond that, unless... Well, no, there are some areas I can work with. Huh.
Departing. Big road is ours.
Now, let's see.
Need supplies? Heavy weapons team taking fire!
Alright, so... What now? I do want one of these, and if I station it here... Well, no, I can't really station it there, because that's not going to be super useful. I will just put it there.
Roger. We're on the move.
Okay, what now? Because their initial assault didn't seem to go anywhere. What's this? We have a couple of trucks armed with ZSU 23-2s. Are they within shooting range of anything? Apparently they are. And the MGS is almost out of ammunition. That is fine. Mostly. Not really, but I'll make it work.
Good copy. Next waypoint received. Who wants a skylight for his house? Roger, moving to next waypoint.
You're probably not going to want to get over there.
Logi here, send traffic. Striker here.
The one problem about the MGS is that it has very low ammunition. It does not have much in the way of boom juice.
Striker ready for combat.
That was a touch overkill, don't you think? I mean, a javelin for that. Okay.
Mortar ready to engage, sir.
No. Okay.
Fly truck ready to transport. Let's dump that. Catch you on the flip flop. I'm RTB.
What the heck? Okay, I would rather not pull...
Striker ready for combat. Roger, moving out. Already there.
Oh, they have ATGMs. Okay.
Good copy. Next waypoint received.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do
Striker here. We're combat ready. Roger, we're Oscar
is
Mike.
I'm gonna try and back them up slightly. Do I have enough points for another... Okay, good. I can pull in another 2 MGSs, which is gonna be good. Also, I need to... Basically, I need to not miss the forest for the trees here. I need to try and hold those 2 points, but also make sure I'm holding the main objective as well. Also, that truck, I have no idea what that truck is doing, but it's pretty darn... You see, this road right here is effectively acting as my FLOT, which, if memory serves, stands for First Line of Troops. That's not necessarily the contact line, which is slightly beyond it, but if you're talking about a not technically unarmored, but unarmed supply truck, I'm not entirely sure I'd be driving there if I was that guy. Although, to be fair, I could route that slightly differently, the same way I routed this ICV Javelin. I do kind of wish my spawn point was slightly closer.
Vehicle status is red.
Wait a second, who's getting hit?
Striker here. Go ahead.
That's actually a point.
Truck
Who
transport ready.
is getting hit?
Troop transport in combat.
The
Smoke deployed. Driver, reverse. Moving out. Striker, ready for action.
okay, so the MGS there is loading up. I'm going to grab the artillery. And I'm basically going to tell them to take no, they are just out of range. Alright. That's a bit of a pest, but not entirely unexpected. I also might want to set up a supply point maybe over here to support the main crossroads.
Fighting vehicle ready for combat.
The thing is, without Hesh ammunition,
Combat vehicle ready.
oh, that guy's working down to Sabo now. But without Hesh, the wait, are you shooting Sabo at dinky little trucks armed with oh, good grief, that's gonna be a bit of a you are. Oh wait, no, that was a javelin. Okay, no, that wasn't Sabo from the that wasn't Sabo from the MGS. That was a javelin. I was about to say, if that was Sabo, that'd be a touch overkill, don't you think? I don't know whose HMG team that belongs to. I'm guessing maybe the Lithuanians? This ICV, what can you see from there? Not much. You're not actually in a position where you can do much, are you?
Personal carrier here. Roger. Moving to next waypoint.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing the Lithuanians are gonna have to replace those guardrails.
Striker standing by.
And they're still loading up on Hesh.
Fighting vehicle is combat ready, sir. Pedal to the metal.
They need a restock. I mean, they're still good on M240 ammunition. and 50 cal rounds, but they need a restock for hash for that 105.
Be advised, Commander. A second wave of vehicles has forced the border and is approaching on the highway. They're accompanied by self-propelled howitzers this time.
Ah,
Static defenses will be hammered by their artillery, so use the mobility of the strikers to avoid their fire.
okay.
Striker awaiting orders. Moving there now.
Okay.
On the road again.
What next? What next? What next? What next? What next? What next? So hang on, what's that? An ATGM team firing an ATGM
Striker here. We're combat ready.
at one of my vehicles. Joy. Ha! Good to know. Right, okay.
Popping smoke. Smoke screen deployed. Weapons team here. Striker at your command, sir. You like big guns too? Mount up and move out. Here's our cab, ladies.
Okay, well, that missed. Mostly.
Logistics ready. Our vehicle can't take much more of it. Striker under fire. Requesting orders.
Once they pile in, this one
Personal carrier under fire.
needs to go
Get us the fuck out of here.
back
Hit it.
and back there.
Striker at your command, sir.
This one
Striker here. We're under fire.
artillery shell's coming from somewhere. Actually, that artillery shell's coming from about right there. The problem
Mortar ready. Send coordinates.
is that that artillery shell's coming from right there. That is definitely out of the range of what my mortars can do. So that's a truck. And that's a BTR-82. Pushing down the main road. Hopefully they're about to start chewing on 105 Sabo. So, what next? Okay, that truck didn't go anywhere.
Personal carrier engaged in combat.
They are being engaged. I do not yet see.
Back up, back up. Keep driving. Vehicle hit. Holy shit, that was close.
That wasn't close, Sunshine. That was a rocket slamming into the ERA on the front of your vehicle. This is why we developed ERA. And that was another ERA. Or another, ATGM. The mortars aren't going to be in range.
Mortar ready. Send mission.
Are they? No, they're not.
Heavy weapons team engaged in combat. Take that building.
Alright, well then get back into the building. That was a mistake to get them out of the
Who wants
building.
a skylight for his house? Cargo truck ready. Last stop. Everybody out. 99. Mission accomplished. Personal carrier ready.
And so now I want... Do I have enough points to... I do.
Roger. Moving to next waypoint. Fighting vehicle reporting in.
Oh, okay, they've got BMPs. And that's outside the view range of the, Okay, so how can we see the BMPs? Okay.
Fighting vehicle, ready.
From there, you can't see enough.
Roger. We're on the move.
Okay, well, on the upside, those things aren't going to be able to shoot unless they stop. Because they have the Grom. Also smoke, and there's something that went splat over there.
Striker standing by. Combat vehicle standing by.
A handful of Lithuanian units have arrived, and will hold the outskirts of the town on our left. Fall back on the main crossroad and hunker down there to receive the main Russian assault.
Okay, so I don't need to hold the crossroads anymore.
Combat vehicle at your command, sir. Striker reporting in.
Alright, new mission. I'm going to try and get what's left of that squad out, if possible. If I can get there in time. And I'm going to...
Striker awaiting orders. Pedal to the metal.
From there, what can they see? They won't be able to see enough.
On ass, we're moving. I love big guns. I want a base of fire in that building.
You stay there.
Weapons team engaged. What are your orders? Heavy weapons team under fire.
And... nuts.
Armored transport standing by. Driver backwards.
Their artillery fires volley after volley without repositioning. Sadly, our mortars lack the range to provide counter battery without exposing themselves.
They're just asking to be beaten. Williams, contact the Lithuanian artillery battery that was training with the strikers. Those PCH-2000s will come in handy.
At once, sir.
Striker here. We're engaged.
Okay, so...
Striker at your command, sir. Moving out. Troop transport reporting in. Already there.
Where is their artillery falling?
Fighting vehicle reporting in. Fighting vehicle ready for combat. Striker
shoot that guy. Preferably with something big and painful. BMP-1.
Sir, the Lithuanian artillery responded. One of their platoons is already on its way. You can call it as reinforcement, Commander.
Yeah, no, there we go. Grab a pair of PZH 2000s. BMP, BTR 82. Can I grab another pair of... No. No, I can't.
Mortar available, sir. Fire mission received. We're on the move. Artillery relocating. Vehicle engaged. Requesting maintenance. Fighting vehicle here. We're under fire. Armored transport reporting in. Roger. Moving out.
BMP-1, BMP-1, BMP-1. I'm guessing that's where the artillery is coming from. And that, ladies and gents, is the virtue of a little thing called counter battery radar. BMP-1s. Wow, they are really throwing the matchboxes at us, aren't they? Alright. So get these vehicles patched up.
Roger. Moving to next waypoint.
New plan. Move that one over there. Actually, no. Don't move that one over there.
Good copy. Next waypoint received.
Move that one on this side of the building.
Striker here. Go ahead. Someone after a ride?
Move them there, because what I suspect I'm going to want to do is try and put infantry in those buildings, because they're probably going to want to swing around here.
Our vehicle has been hit. Need repairs. Weapons team in combat. Awaiting command. Get your head out of your foot. Point of contact and move out. Mortar ready to engage, sir.
Alright, so new fire mission. That anti-tank team is being a massive pain, so
Call for fire received.
preferably I want you to remove them. Strat, ICV.
Striker ready.
How many AT teams are there? Because that's 2 missiles.
The situation is getting dire here, Miller. When are those planes coming?
In
Almost
3.5
there. Hold on a few
minutes.
more minutes.
Calm down. Mortar carrier, javelin, mortar carrier, MGS.
Versatile carrier ready.
Also, bold of you to presume that this is a permissible air environment that you can just fly AC-130s inside of. Yep, they turned the corner.
Combat vehicle engaged!
Come on. I still have to figure out which
Move backward!
button of the mouse does what.
Troop transport, standing by. Fighting vehicle is combat ready, sir. Target confirmed. We're engaging. Situation hot. Order in combat. Send your orders. Don't stay here. Drive.
Try and break.
Stay on the move.
Try and break line of contact. Are those howitzers in position? Almost. Because I've got several fire missions for them when they do get there. Because that is a large collection of bad guys. I was not expecting something that large. Ah! We have Lithuanians! Huzzah! And it looks like they are laid out pretty well.
Striker awaiting orders. Weapons team at your command, sir. Weapons team at your orders. Check that building.
Fortify in there.
Striker in combat. Awaiting commands. Backwards.
And they've managed to take out the other mortar carrier and the Surratt. Not Surratt, the MGS. Okay, well, that's a bit of a pest, but not completely undoable. I'm going to position a couple of these vehicles right here. And in hindsight, I should have positioned a couple of them somewhere around here as well.
Vehicle status red. Situation hot. Roger. Moving out.
And there goes the supply dump.
Weapons team in combat. Send your orders. Move in there. Transport here. We're in combat. Moving out. Ready to rain down death. Smoke screen. Direct fire engagement.
No, that wouldn't be direct fire, that would be indirect fire. Can these guys see? No, they can't actually see what's going on over there.
Roger. We're off the mic.
I mean, okay, so they can just see, they can see the BTR that just rolled out in front of them. Alright. shot at over there.
Copy. Relocating.
Actually, select all three of them and have them
Roger. We're on the move.
spread out.
Roger. We're Oscar Mike. Oh, watch your spacing! Striker, taking fire!
Nuts.
Striker here. We're engaged.
I am aware.
Driver.
And we have 155 heading over there. BMP, reservists, more BMPs.
Striker, engaged in combat. Weapons team under fire, requesting orders.
Okay, they are mostly out of ammunition. Do they have smoke? They do have smoke. That smoke is going to be very,
Striker here. We're under
very
fire.
useful.
Smoke out. Heavy weapons team is under fire. Throwing smoke. Troop transport in combat. Heavy weapons team engaged in combat. Striker in combat. Send your orders. Get your asses into that vehicle. Don't forget your seatbelt, ladies. Striker, engaged in combat. Hit the gas.
Sounds like their guns have been silenced at last.
Okay, that's good. Now, are these guys? They are still working on fire. They're still working on a fire mission. Okay. There's reservists over there.
Striker here. We're in combat. Mission is over. We RTB. On the double squad. Weapons team in combat, awaiting command. Man up and let's go. Combat vehicle here. We're engaged.
I hope that misses. Nuts. They didn't miss. Alright.
Armored transport, ready. Moving out. That's it for today. Let's go back to base.
That's what I should have done.
Run as fast as you're dumb!
And that is a lot of motor rifles. That is being engaged.
Artillery ready to fire, sir. Target marked, direct fire. Weapons team in combat, requesting orders. Striker, ready for action. Keep moving! Weapons team under fire, requesting orders. Here's our ride. Let's head in.
Okay, well,
Striker here. Mission's over. Let's head back to base. Good copy. Next waypoint received. Roger that.
Okay, well, trying to pull from that flank did not go well.
Heavy weapons team in combat. Rock up. We move back to CHUville. Our vehicle can't take much more of it. ATGM carrier in combat. Requesting orders. Smoke. Mobile artillery standing by.
And so we've got a minute before the AC-130s show up.
Providing direct fire. Striker here. We're in combat. Reverse. Striker here. We're combat ready. Looking forward to going home.
The cavalry has arrived, Commander. The gunships are here to support you. Move them over enemy positions and enjoy the show.
Okay, cool. Where are they?
Gunship ready. Gunship here. AC gunship standing by. We're the Angel of Death. Artillery at your command, sir. Engaging targets with direct fire.
The Russian troops seem to be falling back. Looks like they've had enough for today.
That was a close shave. The Striker Brigade is in poor shape. It needs to be withdrawn. But they bought us precious time to organize our next move. Congratulations, Commander.
No time for congratulations. Reports indicate Russian penetrations on all the main axes leading to the 3 capital cities of the Baltic states. So there you have it, General. Your long-awaited war.
Alright. Finish the mission hard and don't lose a single unit. Oh, good grief. So that was well, I was about to say it was about 3-to-1 ratio, but it's actually, according to this, it's closer to 2.8 to 1. That's not great, but not terrible. I mean, I did banjax the entire pullback from from the from that flank. I could have done that better. Alright, what's next? Suwalki, Vilnius, Riga, Tallinn.
Russian troops are pouring into the Baltic states through every checkpoint from Narva in the north to Vilnius in the south.
The Russians have threatened Europe with the use of nuclear weapons if they dare to get involved. The threat was effective. We've been left to fend for ourselves.
We won't be able to prevent the invasion of Estonia and Latvia, and could quickly end up bogged down in a long and exhausting war of attrition in Lithuania.
This is why NATO
Far from
exists.
home and on our own. Our expeditionary units can hit hard and fast, but will rapidly lose effectiveness.
Then our best chance is to seize a bargaining chip to negotiate with.
And what do you propose?
We take Kaliningrad.
The Russian
I like
enclave.
it. We have enough forces in Poland and in the Baltic Sea to take the city and even the entire oblast if things go well. I will prepare attack plans on strategic targets around the city.
Also, if I'm going to be entirely honest, the Poles would be like Russia wouldn't be able to threaten what's this? Russia wouldn't be able to threaten the Poles out of like it's Poland, okay? If war starts with NATO, the first thing NATO is going to have to do is to tell the Poles to stop celebrating that they're about to go fight the Russians. All right, what do we got? We got 3 options. Punch through towards Kaliningrad with armor. Tracked and furious. Assault the port of something or other with Marines. Take control of an airbase with an airdrop. Alright. But what is this? Besides a Russian checkpoint having a very bad day. Drive, buddy.
Morozova.
Lena, my dear, can you tell me what the fuck happened to this whole humanitarian convoy operation, huh? I've just had a call from above, and they're not happy at all.
They opened fire on our troops, which was part of the mission's contingencies, and the mission was validated. We pushed them in a corner and forced them to show their true colors. Now the world cannot ignore the truth that they are the aggressors.
Lena, when will you learn? The world doesn't care about the truth. The truth is whatever the victor decides to tell when the war is over. So if I were you,
So, are we at war?
Not officially, of course. Declaring war is a thing of the past, yes? But this act of war cannot remain unanswered. We would lose face. Contingency Plan 57 has been approved and is now in immediate effect. You know what to do. I hope I can count on you.
Yes, of course.
One last thing. I've seen the request for your team. Take Battalion and the commander, whatever his name is. They make sense and the records are impeccable. But are you sure about Demidov? He's a goner.
Don't worry, I have my reasons. I am sure he will be up to the task.
Still good at motivating men, I see. But don't fuck this up, Lena. I won't be here to save your nice little ass if you do.
Mind your own ass, Mudak.
Okay, so what do we got? Take control of the nuclear power plant or cross the border at Navarra. Okay, so that's Russian options. And that is going to lead to... That's not Vilnius. Vilnius is more like over here. Anyway.